Hello everyone, welcome back to Danzzy Tech World. In our previous video, we spoke about what version control was, we spoke about what Git was, we also learned how to install Git, and then we saw how the app looked like. It looks like any normal basic terminal that we have. So in today's video, we are coming to learn how to integrate Git into our project. And in the previous video I also said we are going to use one of the projects I ever worked on. It's a simple C programming documentation, one-page site. So that's what we'll be using, and we can see that's how the Git app looks like, just a basic terminal. But we are not going to be using this in the video. We are going to be using Visual Studio Code. It comes with the terminal as well as a text editor, so that's why we'll be using that one. And we can also see this is the project and this is how it looks like. We can see that the functionalities are working, but at the moment we don't have smooth scrolling enabled. So in the course of the video we are going to do that and also save those changes with Git. Alright, so I have my Visual Studio Code open right now, and then we can begin from there. But before we start, kindly subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Make sure you click the like button, and also I would like you to share this video to all those you think it will be helpful to. So let's dive into today's video. We will need to first of all open the terminal so that we can use Git. So we have to go on top here, we see terminal, and then we click on new terminal. Or we can also decide to press the Control Shift and then the tilde key that's found on top of the tab key together, and then it's also going to open your terminal for you. Alright, so once you open the terminal, there's a possibility you might not see bash showing at the moment. So all you have to do is to press the arrow down here and then select get bash from the menu. Right, most of you, it might take you directly to PowerShell, so that's what you do. Alright, and whenever we are working on a project and want Git to keep track of the changes, we first of all need to let it know who is using it, and then the email address of the person. So I'll have to do that, then we can start from there. And we do that by typing git config global, then user.name, and then you enter your username. So I enter Danzzy, and then I press enter. We also need to enter our email address, so we have git config global, then user.email, this. So why do we have to do this? This is done because usually in huge companies you'll be working on projects, not only you, but you'll be working with other people, and so whenever changes are made, you need to know who made those changes, so that later on when there's any issue, you know whom to address, right? So that's why we have to go through this. After that, we type git init to give Git the chance to start keeping track of the changes that we made in the project. So once we do that, we can see that the project had Git has been initialized, and it's showing an empty repo at the moment. So since I started this project, I haven't committed the changes or anything, and that's what we'll be doing in this video. So we, in the previous video, remember, we have our staging area, we have our local repo and our remote repo. So we stage the files by typing git add, and then the name of the files that we want to add. So in the case that it's only the index.html we want to add, this is how it's going to be like /index.html. But in the case that we are entering more than one file, we just have to type /, and then what Git is going to do is that it's going to save every change that was made in all the files there, right? So once I do that and then I press enter, it has been staged. Now we need to give it a message, right? So type git commit -m. -m is for message, and then in quotes we type the message. So let's say initial commit, then I press enter. All right, so we are done doing this, and then if we're working with a remote repository, maybe something like GitHub, all we would have done after this is to type git push and then the name of the branch that we want the project to be pushed to online, right? So do git push maybe origin master, if that's the name of the branch, and then we press enter and then we'll go through. But once we haven't linked it to an online, it's going to give us an error, as you can see right now. Okay, so let's say I now add smooth scrolling to the css. As I told you earlier on, the scrolling isn't that smooth, so I do that and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so we can see once the change has been made, we can see a green line here. That's visual code telling us that we haven't committed these changes. All right, so let's say for instance you work on a project and then you go on a break and you are back, but you are not sure as to whether you have committed those changes or not. How do you check to know, right? We can do that by typing git status and then we'll press enter. So Git will let us know which files have not been committed for some time now, and then we can see here that the style.css hasn't been committed. So we can then do that by going the normal way again. Alright, so once I've committed the changes, if I should type git status again, you'll see that we have nothing to commit in the tree directory, right? Because we have committed all the changes. So is that all Git is capable of? No, we also spoke about branches, and right now we can check the number of branches we have in the project by typing git branch and then we press enter. So we can see that we only have one branch, which is the master or the main branch, and then we can decide to create new ones. So we'll do that by typing git branch dash c, which is for create, and then the name of the branch. So let's say I'm creating a branch for development and then I press enter. So we now, if I should type git branch again, we now have two branches. So how do I get into the development phase branch so that I can make my changes and later on merge it? So I do that by typing git switch and then the name of the branch. Once I do that, we can see that the branch has changed from master to development, right? So I can decide to do my changes here. Let's say I add a comment here. So I have made a comment here. Then let me commit it before we continue. Right, so I've committed that change to it, right? And if I should type git status again, I see that I have a clean working tree, right? So how do I now merge it into the master branch? First of all, I'll have to switch into the master branch and then merge it from there. So I have to type git switch again, then master, and I press enter. Now that I'm in the master branch, I type git, then merge, and then the name of the branch I want to merge from. So that will be development, and then I press enter. So right now we can see that it has successfully been merged without any errors. If there were too many changes that were made and then there are too much differences between the development branch and then the master branch, we would have run into conflicts, right? But the conflicts, we will not speak about that in this video. Maybe in subsequent videos we'll speak about conflicts and how to resolve and manage those ones. Okay, so we are currently done merging our changes to the master branch and we'll no longer need the development branch. So how do we delete it? We do that by typing git branch, then dash d, and then the name of the branch. So in this case, development, and then we press enter. But in the case that the changes we made in the branch, we don't need them, and so we haven't committed or merged those changes, we'll have to change the dash d from a small d to a capital D. So it's like forcing the branch to be deleted even though the changes have not yet been resolved, right? So when we press enter, you can see our branch has been deleted. And so if I type git branch again, we only have one branch, which is the master branch. So one last thing before we go, we have made changes, we have committed them, we kept them in the staging area. So how do you get the log history of all the commits that we made, right? So we do that by typing git log, and then we press enter. So Git is going to give you a detail of all the comments that we made. So we made an initial commit, we added smooth scrolling, and then we also added comments to the HTML. Those are the 3 commits that have been made at the moment, right? And so we can decide to even go into those previous comments, look around to see how the project was by that time, and then if it's anything, we decide to um create a new branch out of the we can also decide to create a new branch out of that commit, and then take it from there, right? So how do we get into a previous commit? We do that by typing git checkout and then the hash value of the commit. So we can see that for each commit it has a hash value, very long value, but we don't need to enter the entire thing. We can just enter a portion of it, and then Git is going to understand what's happening. So let's say I want to go back to smooth scrolling. So I type 41AF, then I press enter. So at the moment I'm in a detached state, and the changes I'll be making is not necessarily going to affect the code in the master branch, right? So I can also decide to create a new branch out of this commit that we have here at the moment. I type in git switch dash c, which we said is for create, and then the name of the branch. So maybe smooth scrolling face, and then I press enter. So a new branch has been created, and we can see that it's appearing here. We can make our changes and later on merge it as usual. We can also decide to delete delete the branch afterwards. And so that's what we have learned in this video. So we have finally come to an end of the basic concepts that you need to know about Git, right? And then you can check out the Git documentation site to get more info about some of the codes that we didn't talk about, to get more info about some of the things that you can do that we didn't talk about. And so I'll leave the link in the description section so that you can check it out. And thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and share the video as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and in the next video we are going to be talking about GitHub, so make sure you stay tuned, and see you in that video. Bye bye.